Yeah, I'm just going live on YouTube. Rashad should join any minute, so okay. Okay, we're live on YouTube, guys. So let me just update my post and we can get started. Just give me a sec.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, Rashad, man, you almost missed the webinar, no? As we say in Bulgaria, just missed the train. So let
Oh,
me
sorry.
let me share the link on, I mean, the YouTube link on LinkedIn, and we can get started. Just give me a sec. So I have everything like scheduled. So just 1 minute.
Hi, guys. Kagan, Jessica, Kfir. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. How are you?
Okay, okay,
Hi.
guys, we're ready. Okay, so let me share my screen. And we can get started. Uh, okay. Do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining. This is Nick Penev again. I hope that you're not sick of seeing me. We just do these webinars once a month. We do small ones every 2 weeks. But today we're gonna cover very interesting topics. The title of the webinar is Mastering E-commerce, Multi-Channel Revenue Optimization, Global Acceleration and Profitability. Because I spoke with a brand a few months ago, and one of their clients told them, if you guys don't take us international, we're going to find another agency. So for a lot of companies, go global or just they need to fold. So we're going to talk about how we can optimize revenue across multiple channels, how we can accelerate globally, and of course, profitability. Because if you don't make money, when you're doing that for Amazon or for the marketplace. So that's very important. And today, with me, I have a few of my close partners. Kfir, he's the co-founder of A to Z Digital. He also Kagan Adair, co-founder of Profit Cyclops. Rashad Hussain, founder of Sales, and last but not least, Jessica Wright. She's the director of partnership at Seller Labs and O2 Management. And here I'm your host, Nick Penev. I'm the partner manager at hellotax, the co-founder of XTREME Power Brands and Scayul. So let me tell you more about what I've been doing. Now, I've been advising companies how to grow for partnerships, and it's one of the things that we do for our clients is we do those webinars because giving and sharing information which is going to help you grow, it's vital for everybody. If you don't know what or how to do something, you're not going to do anything. I've been a webinar host for the last 4 years. I've done over 300 webinars. And one of the last things that I'm most proud of, I've been fully remote since 2010, long before it was cool. I spend the summer on the beach and I spend the rest of the year whatever my wife tells me. So let me tell you more about the agenda today. So first, I'm going to talk about the expansion to Europe blueprint, how to start selling in Europe easily. Then Jessica is going to talk about how to unlock revenue streams, strategies for multi-channel profit boosting, multi-channel profit. Those are the keywords here. Then Kfir, who is one of our closest partners at hellotax and several of my other clients and partners, he's going to talk about how to use external traffic to boost your sales on Amazon. And he's gonna talk a little more about multi-channel because that's what he does at his agency. Kagan is gonna talk about what profit margin should Amazon seller aim to maintain. This is very important because a lot of sellers have no idea what is their profitability. And last but not least, Rashad is gonna talk about performance drives profitability. And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session and we're going to answer all your questions. So if you have any questions, if you need to leave a little earlier, don't worry about that. Write your question. We're going to answer that in the Q&A session and we're going to share the recording tomorrow. Each speaker is going to have around 10 minutes. So we're going to make it short and sweet, packed with value so you guys can watch whatever you want later on. So I mentioned expansion to your blueprint, and that's what we do. A lot of companies know that Europe is a good market, but they don't know the numbers. Now, these are just few things that you should consider. Europe has 450 million people population over 18 potential buyers. Only 2% of Amazon sellers in the US are selling also in Europe. I don't need to tell you anything more, even though there's other good stuff that you need here. But in other words, your competitors are not here. 98% of your competitors are not selling in Europe. So think about that. So because of that, I developed a blueprint which I call expansion to your blueprint. What we do a marketing research and audit and we prepare a blueprint outlining all the necessary steps about successful expansion to Europe. In other words, what we do, we show you the money, how much is your demand for the product, and what is the competition. Then after that, we're gonna take care of the VAT. Without VAT, you cannot sell across Europe. As simple as that. hellotax is taking care of that, one of my clients. After that, I have another partner who is doing product components, because VAT and product components are the two must-haves if you sell in Europe. If you don't have product components, you won't be able to sell, or if you start selling and they catch you, you're gonna be suspended. So a partner called Complizon, they're taking care of that. Then we have another partner who is covering logistics. There are actually two of those. One is based in Europe, Wapi. The other one is Qdrop, which is based in China. They drip feed their stock from China to Europe every week, so you actually have more cash flow. And the last but not the least, we have a partner called Margin Business who is doing the localization and translation. So if people don't understand what we're selling, if you're not using the proper language, they're not gonna connect, they're not gonna buy. So they're doing that, but all of that is in a package that we do for you guys. So let me show exactly what we're doing. So we do the research, the VAT compliance, product compliance, logistics, localization, and the brand management, which is optional for some of our partners. But this is what we do. You send us your Amazon store link, your Shopify store link, or just your product idea, and my team are gonna do a product opportunity report like this one. We're gonna take the keywords in your category and we're gonna say, okay, what is the buyer demand? What is the competition opportunity? How much is the investment sweet spot? How much is the revenue potential? And of course, what is the niche score? The higher the niche score, the better for you. So in this case, now these are some AirPods that a company is selling a few millions in the States, and this is the search volume. So you can see how much people are searching, you can see the trend, and you can see that there is demand for that. Here we're actually comparing, we're showing the top products in your category. Now you can see how much they're making, how many reviews they got, how much monthly sales they're doing, what is their price, and you can see who are your competitors. So you can actually see what they're doing, and from what we're seeing, a lot of the competitors of major brands in the States are not doing very well, which means you can do a market entry pretty quickly. We also do like the competitor trends, this for another product, what is the top pace in revenue, what are the reviews, what is the star. So in simple words, we show you the money, we show you the opportunity, and then we take care of the next steps and we expand it to Europe. So this is like an overview of a brand just for Germany, what you can expect, what is the trend in the market. And that's actually very good because there is not that much competition in Europe. So if you're doing well in the States or any other market, or if you're selling in your home country in Europe, you're not selling across Europe, that's an opportunity for you guys. So just send us your Amazon store link or website, and we're gonna do those reports in like a few days, and then we're gonna present them and we're gonna take it from there. But now I'm gonna stop talking about that. I'm gonna share some information about our content sponsor. Those are the guys who do a lot of stuff for our content for the webinar. The company is called Dobby Ads. They're an award-winning creative service company for Amazon sellers that design product infographics, EBC images and videos. They're giving away free complete sets of EBC images for free value $600. We're gonna have more of those promotions after that, but stay tuned then to see them or check out the recording tomorrow. And now I'm done with the expansion tour, but before you do that, you need to have a quality software partners. We're gonna teach how to do omnichannel and acceleration. So thank Jessica and all for joining us today. Please introduce yourself to our attendees and tell us what your guys are doing and how you help out sellers. And thanks again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you to the other panelists here and to everyone who's attending today. Super excited to be here and to be part of this. So just a quick overview of who I am and what I'm doing in this space. So some of you may know me from my time at Seller Labs as the Director of Partnerships. Last year, Seller Labs sold the agency side of their business, Seller Lab Services, to a company called AO2 Management. And so now I also am Director of Partnerships there for AO2. So that's kind of what I do in my day-to-day role now, but a little bit of background. I've been in the e-commerce space for about 15 years. So back in 2008 is when I got involved. I worked for a toy brand and worked to launch that toy brand on Amazon and other marketplaces to take them really from the traditional brick and mortar retail into all of the .coms that were popping up, whether it was like Target.com or Walmart.com or Amazon and some of the other marketplaces back then. Some of you may remember Wayfair before they were Wayfair, CSN stores. They were kind of another everything store before they kind of niched down and then now have developed into a marketplace. So in that 15 years working with brands, working for brands, I've learned a lot. And obviously, like most everyone else, have focused a lot of my attention on Amazon and Amazon US. But if we've learned anything really since the pandemic and in the last couple of years as well, we've really learned that we need to, go multi-channel and diversify and not keep everything just with Amazon.com and in the US. So I'll share my screen now. I have a short deck. I'm not the best at going off of a script, so I may abandon this part way through, but just to give you some visuals to look at while I go through some of these points. Can everyone see my screen? Good. All right. So yeah, as Nick said, we're going to be talking about kind of omni-channel expansion and with this little kind of nugget at the end about Amazon PPC advertising for opportunities for brands that are not selling on Amazon. And let's see if I can advance there. So just taking a look at the multi-channel opportunities, I wanted to kind of deep dive into the top 20 really quickly. We all know Amazon.com and also the Amazon international marketplaces, but there are so many opportunities, like Nick was saying, in Europe, in Asia, there's so many marketplaces outside of Amazon that I just want to give you this visual so you can see what your opportunities are, right? Amazon is in the top, obviously, #1. eBay's in the top 5, but we've got Rakuten, AliExpress, Walmart's in the top 10, but also Etsy, Mercado Libre. Target is a nationally known brand, but still just kind of coming in at the top 20 of marketplaces along with some others. So there's a good assortment here. I think a lot that many brands don't even know exist or don't know that are opportunities for them. So when you're talking about omni-channel and getting your brand recognition outside of just Amazon, right? Regardless of where your brand is, you're probably selling on Amazon, and you're probably selling on Amazon US first and foremost, even if you're based in another country, because that's the biggest marketplace. But there's so many other opportunities and other opportunities that may be a great fit for your brand, even a better fit for Amazon. I know that some other people are probably going to talk about profitability today, and I'll let them get into that a little bit deeper. But the main thing is we all know that things are changing on Amazon. They have been for a long time. And there are new fees and new things that are coming out that may not be a great fit for your brand. I don't think they're all bad overall. I don't think it's impossible to be profitable on Amazon in 2024. However, I do think that brands need to use some of the work with good providers, whether it be Seller Labs, who has some great profitability tools for you, whether it be AO2, who's a full service management agency, or any of the other partners Nick has talked about. There's so much opportunity to partner with the right tools and the right services to really assess your profitability and find out if Amazon is the best place for you to be or just one of the places for your brand to be. And maybe you should be looking at some of these other marketplaces for opportunity. And beyond these traditional like retail e-commerce marketplaces, another thing I want to call out, of course, is social commerce. Social commerce is really shaking things up. We all know Facebook, Instagram, TikTok Shop is like the big talk right now. And what's interesting is, of course, none of these are showing up right now in the top 20 e-commerce marketplaces, but these are some of the things we're hearing about more than any of the others. And so social commerce is going to be emerging even more. It's going to become a bigger part of your business. And it's really going to be important for brands to take a look at how they can diversify their sales, not just across the traditional e-commerce marketplaces, but taking a look at social commerce and seeing what's going to be a fit for their brand as well. Some stats put out by eMarketer in their September 2023 forecast. US retail social commerce, of course, this is specific to the US, but that can be kind of extrapolated across international as well. US retail social commerce sales will surpass 100 million in 2025. That's a year from now. That's going to be over 22% growth, right, from this year. So that's huge. As well, US social commerce sales will claim 6.6% of total e-commerce sales in 2024. Which again, that's huge. That's almost 10%. And when you look at like the Amazons and the other marketplaces and the traditional .coms, social marketing or social commerce taking up to almost 10% market share is a huge growth. And it's definitely something that, like, tip number one, if I can give you any tip, that biggest tip is going to be start checking out social commerce. There is opportunity across the world, across these different marketplaces, and everyone should have their eyes on this. But what's going to be a good fit for your brand, which marketplace, how you do it, whether it's going to be checking out on TikTok Shop or directing traffic somewhere else through Instagram. There's opportunity, but you just really have to know what's right for your brand. And that's what I'm going to dive into next. A couple of pretty boring slides. Apologies in advance. There's a lot of text. I'm going to walk you through some pretty strategic things in the time I have allotted. So hopefully you can grab some nuggets from that. I know there's going to be more questions. Ask them at the end here, or please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or reach out afterwards to talk more about some of these things. But I've got 10 tips really quickly just to give you kind of some framework of what you should look at when you're looking at expanding onto those additional marketplaces and making sure you're setting yourself up for profitability there. So the biggest thing is really to know your audience, right? You have to understand what your audience is, what your demographics are, what their shopping behaviors are, and being able to choose the marketplace that aligns with your audience preferences and where they're most likely to shop, right? Most of us start out at Amazon.com US because that is the biggest marketplace, but that's not always going to be the best marketplace for your audience. And so if you're already doing great there, wonderful. Start checking out some of these other options and seeing where you can expand and have some more exposure. Similarly, researching your marketplace options, knowing what those are, knowing what their audience size is, the niche, the focus, the fees, all of that stuff, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more here. Evaluating the fees and costs. In the Amazon space, we all know how important that is, and we know how quickly it can change. But going into other marketplaces, you kind of have experience from what you've already done on Amazon and what you maybe already have lost on Amazon, and understand how important it is to go into each of these markets and really understand their fee structures and decide if it aligns with your profitability. And again, there are tools out there now. There are service providers, reach out to us at Seller Labs. We can help you assess your Amazon profitability, and that can help you kind of set up that framework as well for looking at other markets. Understanding seller support and how well those marketplaces are going to be able to support you, what their return policies are, all of those things for your business, that does make a big difference for profitability. And then considering your brand visibility. Who else is on that platform? What are the opportunities for marketing and promotions that are going to get you noticed? And I'll come back to that one in a minute, because I do want to talk about how you can leverage Amazon advertising, even if you're selling on a different marketplace. Reviewing the policies, making sure that you can be compliant, making sure your products are compliant for those marketplaces, checking out the seller tools and features beyond promotions and marketing. What are the other things that are available to you to really elevate your brand? And what are those integrations and automations in the age of AI and all the things that are going on? What are the tools available on those markets that are going to make it easy for you to expand? Because that's a big piece of profitability. How easy is it for you to take your brand from one marketplace to another? What's the lift involved in that? What's the cost involved in that? Obviously, the automations, integrations are going to make that easier, take up less of your time, overall help you be more profitable. Understanding the customer base, considering your existing base, what are you going to get from expanding, right? Amazon.com is not necessarily the same marketplace or same customer base as Target. So if you expand to target.com, you may reach an entirely new audience and not cannibalize your existing Amazon marketplace, but you need to know what your audience is and then what the audience is on those markets. Evaluating the competition, what else is already there? If you want to go from US to Europe, but there's already a brand that is doing the same thing and is really well recognized in Europe and trusted by the European audience, maybe that's not the best place for you to go next. And you need to look at some other markets. And then just testing and iterating and making sure that you don't kind of do too much coming out of the gate. You want to make sure that you don't try and go after all 20 of these marketplaces I listed. Pick one or two to start for your expansion, see how that goes, review that feedback, and then fine tune it from there, and maybe stick with those 2 or 3, or find the next one and the next one, and year over year be expanding a little bit more. I think I'm running short on time, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of abandon my deck here. But the next thing I really wanted to share, and this is like my biggest takeaway tip, I think, is a lot of people aren't aware that Amazon has opportunities for what they call non-endemic brands. So if you are a brand that is not selling on Amazon at all, you can advertise on Amazon. And I'm not talking about a DSP and the ability to do some of the streaming advertising, although that is available to you. If you are a non-endemic brand, starting at the end of 2023, Amazon has made opportunities for you to advertise on Amazon in search results, in the sponsored ads, just like an Amazon brand selling on Amazon, but you can direct your traffic off of Amazon to your other site or, wherever else you might be selling. So I know that's a terrible thing to end on because I can't give you all the information about exactly how to leverage that, but I'm happy to talk to you about it more. That is an opportunity that is available to you regardless of where you're selling your product. And I think that's the number one thing that really those brands who are looking to sell off of Amazon should look at for 2024. And I think I'm over time, so that is it from me.
Thank you, Jessica. Great presentation. You're short, but you shared a lot of valuable stats, because numbers, that's what I tell my guests in general. If you just chat, that's one thing, but if you show people some numbers just to see the growth, like the social commerce, and that's why, we've been chatting about TikTok. Even if they ban TikTok, social commerce is not gonna disappear, So people, don't just die, nothing's gonna happen. This is a big trend, is gonna continue. Somebody's gonna pick up. And the one thing that you said that you're sorry that you cannot continue the topic about the external traffic, I did not do it on purpose, but Kfir is a master on that, So they actually deal with external traffic. So he's gonna pick up the topic and he's gonna talk also about omnichannel in Europe and globally, because that's what he does. So thank you, Jessica, again. Kfir, man, now it's you. Tell us more about yourself and what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much, Nick, and thank you, Jessica. It's been really insightful because what I'm going to speak about right now is in line with exactly what I'm doing and what I think will bring the advantage to Amazon sellers nowadays. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and where I'm coming from, and then we can move forward to that topic. So I've been an Amazon seller for over 10 years. And I actually started my journey like many others on eBay. That was almost 12 years ago. And along the years, a lot of businesses, because I've been selling on Amazon and I've done it to myself, and I've been selling on all Amazon, most of the Amazon marketplaces. A lot of businesses reach out to me, and ask me how I do this, and how do I sell there, and how do I expand to Europe, and how do I bring external traffic, etc., etc. And like a year and a half ago, something like that, my Amazon business has been acquired by one of the aggregators. And since then, what I'm doing is that I have two businesses. One of them is consulting. I'm helping other businesses on Amazon to first of all expand to other marketplaces and to build strategy and to see where they can grow their business on Amazon. And we also build a platform that's something that I'm not going to speak a lot about today, but that's a platform that actually helps you to generate external traffic. I'm going to speak a lot about how to generate and create your external traffic to Amazon. And this is what I'm doing today, actually. Today, I'm helping businesses to grow their business through several methods. So first of all, of course, everybody knows how to bring the traffic on Amazon, okay? On Amazon, you can do PPC, you can do all kinds of advertisements, videos, sponsored brands, etc., etc. And one of the most difficult things today is how you're bringing your advantage and how you're doing one more step ahead of your competition. And that's been done by external traffic. I mean, as far as I know, and I have been speaking with tons of sellers on Amazon, I would say that 90% of them, they never did any kind of external traffic to Amazon, which is, when you're thinking about it, it's quite insane because, everybody is in a race how to beat your competition, how to be ahead of your competition. And when you're thinking about it, that's something that is quite, for me, it's something that it should be basic because I've done it and I've done it on my business for many years. And, when I'm speaking with really large businesses on Amazon, they are doing millions on Amazon. and they never did any kind of external traffic. For me, it's kind of insane, you know, because they are fighting on Amazon with the Chinese, and you know, everybody knows that nowadays, not now, but it's been many years now, that the Chinese are literally killing your business. I mean, they know how to copy exactly what you're doing, and if you don't know how to be ahead of them, at least one step or 2 steps ahead of them, you're doomed. I mean, your business you're going to find you're going to find yourself out of business. So what I'm doing today is, I'm going to speak right now about it, is how you're going to create your external traffic, how you're going to make advantage from your competition. So basically, let's speak first of all about the advantage of driving external traffic to your Amazon store. First of all, you're opening yourself to completely new audiences. You're not limited to the audiences on Amazon. What's going on? What's happening when you're advertising on Amazon? You're limited only to the audience on Amazon. When you're advertising outside of Amazon, such as, you know, if you're doing social media ads, or if you're doing Google ads, or if you're doing influencers, TikTok, whatever you think about, whatever you can think about, you're opening yourself to a completely new audiences that you've never been exposed to. That's one thing. The other thing is that Amazon really loves external traffic, and there benefits you with better ranking on Amazon, first of all. And there is also the brand referral fee, which is 10% brand referral fee, which is quite a lot, because, you know, the fees nowadays on Amazon are insane, and every percentage of the fee that you can save, that can be really dramatic. So those are the advantages when you're driving external traffic, though. So do you have the ranking? You're going to improve your ranking. You're going to be exposed to new audiences, and the brand referral fee, which is quite dramatic. It's 10% for brand referral fee bonus. So how do you do it? I mean, how do you actually drive external traffic? What do you need to do, and how, and what would be the most profitable and the right source for your business to your Amazon store? So, you know, in generally speaking, I would say that according to my experience, there are three methods that are really, really good. First of all, I would say that if you have an email list of your clients, of your past clients, or someone that's been registered to your newsletter or something like that, that would convert the best. I mean, email list and email campaigns are the best method as far as I done, and what I've done so far, converting the best. But the main problem is that I would say 99% of Amazon sellers don't have email lists, and that's a problem. So if you have, use that's something that will convert and will be the best way and method to convert and bring in more sales. You can buy lists from other marketplaces, that you can buy email lists and all those things. I wouldn't recommend doing that, because in most cases those lists, they value nothing, and you will not get anything out of it. The second method that I really and I strongly recommend to use is working with influencers and TikTok and TikTok Shop. That method has been increased sales to one of my customers, one of my clients, by 200%. Okay. I've seen amazing things. You need to know how to do that. But once you know the methods, and once you're finding the right influencers and you know how to do it, and you're finding the right partner, that's a gold mine, completely a gold mine. Okay. That's, of course, a process. That's not something that's going to happen in one night or something like that. It takes time, and it's like any other campaigns that you are doing. You need to know how to build the funnel. There is also a funnel over there. There are stages that you need to build it, and if you know how to do it, you're going to see amazing results. So influencers, amazing, but that's a process and you need to come with a budget and you need to know how to do that. But once you're combining all the right dots, once you're connecting all the right dots to that, that's insane. I mean, I can assure you, you're going to see results, something that you've never seen before. Now, another method, Google Ads. Google Ads are also really good, and you need to know how to do that. It's also like any other campaigns. Once you're building the funnel, you need to know how to create the funnel on the Google Ads, and you can do it by location. And you're doing, of course, you're going to do the campaign with the right keywords and all that. That's also a process that takes some time. And nowadays, not now, but it's been quite a while that Amazon came out with the Amazon attribution. And when you're doing all those methods that I just spoke about, this is how you're going to track and monitor all your campaigns. I mean, like in any other campaign, you want to know your data, you want to know how to analyze, and you want to know how to scale. Okay, so once you're going to do any kind of a campaign that is an external traffic, you need to use Amazon attribution. There are several platforms that you can use nowadays that will help you track and monitor, and going to give you even more data that you're going to get on Amazon attribution, on Amazon platform. But once you're doing an external traffic campaign, the method to track and monitor those results would be with Amazon attribution. On Amazon attribution, you can see add to cart, you can see purchases, you can see impressions, and that's a great way to actually track and monitor your results. I strongly recommend to do that, and this is something that I'm doing with a lot of my clients nowadays. You're always looking for new methods to beat your competition, and I really like what Nick said, and also Jessica, because it's really complete what I'm just speaking about. Because you need to expand to the European market, you need to bring traffic from other sources, from other platforms like eBay, etc., Walmart, whatever. And once you will complete it, after you're expanding and you're also working with on other marketplaces and all that, if you want to leverage your Amazon store, external traffic is a must. And I can assure you that once you will do it right, you're going to see amazing results. What else? That's it, basically. This is what I wanted to say today. This is what I want to speak about. And that's it.
Thanks, Kfir. Thanks, Kfir. No, you guys are. I was not planning to put you in such an order, but I guess I did it very well. So I mean, just summarizing again, like omni-channel external traffic, and I'll tell you my biggest mistake that I did when I was running my eCommerce business in Europe for 10 years. We had 500,000 clients, people who purchase our product, and we didn't send a single email to them.
Really?
Can you imagine that? We had 500,000 email contacts of our clients, we never send an email. So
wow.
So I'm a complete idiot. So right now I use a lot of email, and don't make the same mistake, because with social networks, so you might have 13,000 followers, 1 million followers on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. You don't know those guys. You don't have their email list. So if they kick out, adios muchachos, you have nothing. So that's why it's good to have an email list, because a lot of people don't know that, but email marketing has the highest ROI
Completely.
from any marketing.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can, once you have the people in your newsletter, you can keep on selling them your products or variations of your products, and you're not gonna pay for ads because they're in your list. So it's always a combination. So this, we can call that omni-channel marketing, if you say. So Amazon is great, but you need to look into alternatives, because many of your competitors are not doing that. But right now we're gonna go to our next guest today, which is Kagan, Adair. He's gonna talk about what profit margin should Amazon sellers aim to maintain. Because I know for a fact, and Kagan knows better than me, some sellers have no idea how much is their profit. So thank you for joining, and tell us what you guys do. Introduce yourself for the people who don't know, and just give us some great tips. Thank you, Kagan.
Hey everyone, do you see my screen right now, Nick? Okay. Just a little background information. Like I'm coming from the selling background. I'm an 8-figure seller veteran, and like part of my job is to oversee thousands of accounts, doing some analysis with the sellers, and like the number one issue with the sellers is revenue illusion. I want to call it as revenue illusion. Like with the Amazon, you know that like we're all sellers and we love to have our revenue numbers go up. But when we look at the profit numbers, it's not the same because there are a lot of fees on Amazon. And like the last time that I looked, it was 90 different fees. And when I meet with the sellers, the first question that I ask, do you know what is compensated clawback is? Like what is like the some of the fees that they never know, closing fees or low level inventory fee, like they're gonna pay return fees. And most of the sellers do not know without selling Amazon. And the number one rule selling on Amazon is to know your numbers. And you got to know your numbers really well, even at the transaction level. I like to follow profitability at transaction level. I also like to follow the profitability at SKU level, and I also like to follow the profitability at account level. And you may also sell on Walmart. You may also sell in Target. You may also sell in Shopify. You got to know your profitability at these accounts as well. And I'm gonna give you some hard numbers that are coming with the sellers that we are working with who has the consent to data to be anonymized, and you can benchmark your marketplace with this. And I want to divide the marketplaces into one of them is wholesale business and the other one is private label. And when we look at the data, if you're running a wholesale business on Amazon, your profitability, if your profitability is about 13%, you are doing great. And if your profitability is less than 13%, you are doing below average. And if you look at the costs involved, like 44% goes to cost of goods sold, and 40% goes to referral fee and FBA fulfillment fees. And as you can see, nothing much left after these all fees. And like I have seen some businesses doing 20% if they have some exclusivity with the brands, but I have seen a lot of brands doing 8, 9, 10% profit margin. And the wholesale businesses are larger compared with private label. You can scale pretty quick, and most of the time when I see a wholesale business doing great, I suggest them to create their brand and do some private label. And if you look at the private label, things are a little complicated here. More fees like the returns, inventory fees because your items are not moving fast enough. Advertising fees because Amazon is not going to let you sell without advertising. There's nothing you can do with the referral fees. And like FBA fulfillment fees are 18%, and your profit margins are 30%. And again, I have seen sellers doing 50% profit margin, but I also see sellers doing 10%. And when we first start selling on Amazon 8, 9 years ago, what I remember one of my friends telling me, if you purchase a product for $3, you gotta at least sell it for $12, 4 times of your cost of goods. But a lot of things changed in these 8 years, and as you can see, you should sell at least 6 or 7 times more of what you're selling, what you're purchasing. And there are also some fees, returns. There's one fee here, inventory fees, and the others, and more is coming. And how can I improve my profit margins? Like these are the numbers, as I mentioned, the average. You can benchmark your marketplace, and after all, you can focus on how you can increase your profit margin. And one of the way that most of the sellers that we are working to, after all these fees, promos, returns, referrals, fulfillment, shipping, advertising, and storage, they look at the profit margin for each SKU. You can look at this at the parent ASIN level, and then they eliminate 20% of their worst performing items. I know that I also see, with the private label sellers, they are emotionally attached to their, products, but the numbers never lie. If it is not working, it's not working. Get rid of 20% of the bottom and replace it with something that's going to work for you. And we're also doing some, analytics with the, lenders, buyers who are, purchasing Amazon businesses. And these are top 4 metrics that shows profitability without looking anything. If your ad realizes 80%, I can tell you're really profitable. The numbers tell if you're selling on Amazon and if you're selling 3 items, 2 items should be, organic. Again, I have seen brands with the 50% ad reliance that are profitable, but I haven't seen any brand that has ad reliance 70% or 80% that's not profitable. And the total A cost, 5% is a great number to achieve. I have seen brands with 3-4%. I also, see a lot of brands with 11%, 12%. But if you're going close to, 20%, it's high likely that your profit margin is around 10%. And one of the metric FBA fees over sales, this is pretty important. Do not sell heavy items that are cheap, because with the new fees and all the fees that Amazon has, you're gonna sell a little small items with, that are not cheap. And as I mentioned, it was 25% 5-6 years ago, but now it's 15% COGS over sales. And there's one underrated metric that I want to mention. This is one of the top report that I look at when someone want me to make analysis about their store. The return rates, best sellers are the least returnees. Amazon decrease your visibility if your return rate is higher. And for the ones who doesn't know, they are coming up with the return rate fees. If your return rate is, above 1, your vertical, you're going to pay for each return. Right now, you're only paying 20%. What I suggest is to look at, all the return rates, all the reasons for the returns, and try to eliminate. I bet if you, decrease your return rates 20 or 30%, you will see at least 10 or 15% revenue bump. And look for hero product. I call them as hero products. If you have, a cost around 10%, total a cost around 5%, ranking 4.4 or more. Again, if you are investing on an item that's 4.2, 4.1, I find it a little risky, and the return rate is between 0 and 1%, and the profit margin is 25%. You can sell thousands of products, thousands of products per month, if you focus on these items. And do not forget, most of the sellers are generating 80% of their profits from the 20% of their products, and it's really important to find out the hero products. And as other panelists mentioned, look for new marketplaces, look for new items, look for new verticals. It's really important nowadays to optimize your game, because the fees are coming and they are real. Get rid of the bottom 20%. I saw some sellers changing the design of their box so that they pay less FBA fees and advertise wisely. As I mentioned, if you spend 20% of your revenue to advertising, it's very less likely for you to be profitable. And this is again another number you can benchmark. If your sales, Walmart sales, is less than 15% of your Amazon sales, you are below the market range. And as you all mentioned, when I talk with sellers from US, I'm suggesting them to focus on the European and the UK marketplaces. The first thing is advertising fees are less, inventory fees are less, the continent is small, and the people are living packed. And this also reflect to the FBA fees, which are lesser. And when we do an analysis of the same brand in the North America versus EU UK is always profitable. But I know that it's difficult to penetrate the European and UK marketplaces because of the regulations. It's not as easy as selling in the US, but it really works. And like you can reach out to me directly from my email address, and we can do similar analysis if you want for your business as well. Thank you very much, Nick. I think that's all from me.
Thanks, Kagan. You guys are superstars. I've never had speakers which are so punctual, no bullshit, just sharing, good tips and actionable tips as well, not just talking about fairy tales. So thanks again, Kagan. And now we're gonna go to Rashad,
I
who is
really
the
appreciate
last, and he's gonna talk about the last topic today, which is performance drives profitability. I have no idea what you mean by that, Rashad, but since I know you, I'm sure it will be something valuable. So please introduce yourself to our attendees and everybody else and tell us what you mean by that. And thanks again.
Thank you very much for inviting me along, and thank you to the panelists as well. It's been great listening to everybody. Nick and audience, just like many of the other panelists here, I'm also an ex-seller. I've gone through the whole brand journey and exiting brands and setting up teams and facing those challenges. And I think everyone will agree that if your product isn't performing right, there's not going to be much profit to talk about. There's not going to be much sales to talk about. If the audience isn't liking your product, then you're not going to get very far. Numbers don't lie, stats don't lie. So that's the angle of What Sales, where we focus on performance of your listings, performance of your account, performance of your catalog, and that driving your profitability. What I'll do is I'll jump right in, Nick, and I'm just going to share my screen.
Yeah, do you see like the share screen, the green button in the middle?
Yep, I've just got these annoying pop-up alerts coming on my screen. It won't let me press the button. Great. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen. I can see it at least. So,
welcome to What Sales. This is our real-time profitability and performance dashboard. I've gone from a very different stance. Being a seller myself, the whole journey started off from me screaming down the phone, "What's the sales? What's the sales? Where are we with stock? Where are we with advertising? Where are we with everything?" And that took a life of its own and created What Sales. We are multi-channel. We support Amazon, eBay, Shopify, Magento, Woo, Walmart, B&Q, Boots, Miracle. So we're growing with a lot of the platforms. And actually just today, Usman, our CTO, and Ali, our CDO, they just gave us the good news that we've just gone live with Google Ads as well. We've become Google partners. I'm just going to jump straight into what the topic is about today, channels. I personally believe, Nick, that if you're not multi-channel, you're not going to last very long. If you're not in Europe, you're definitely cutting your lifespan very short, because Europe is definitely coming here. We work with nearly 4,000 sellers, and I can tell you one thing with a lot of certainty, that a lot of the Central European sellers are now looking westwards. They are looking at the UK market. They are looking at the US market. They are looking at the Canadian market. So you, as a UK seller or a US seller, you need to be expanding yourself. The second thing is, we have sellers which no longer rely on Amazon as their main tier driver for sales. I won't mention names, but we have some customers who are now advertising on Mano Mano, a listing on Mano Mano and B&Q. They've seen a 32% uplift in sales. So not only should you be across Europe, but secondly, you absolutely need to be multi-channel. It's the only way of the survival right now. Jessica mentioned about social commerce. The fastest growing social commerce metric that we have is TikTok. Since January, we've been TikTok partners since February, I believe. Since then, we've seen quite literally the curve like this, and I'll demonstrate that. This is the What Sales dashboard. Just very, very quickly, we aggregate all of the sales from all of the channels, minus all of the real-time ad fees. We've got our live stream, profit as it happens, sales as it happens, refunds as it happens. Nick, I think when as analysts and as service providers, we focus on the profit, we forget that the biggest thing is the loss. If we can't manage the losses, this business isn't going anywhere. So what do the losses look like? What is driving those losses? Which products are driving those refunds? How much is that refund actually costing you? How is that trend looking? So there's a lot of aspects of performance marketing, and this is performance, Nick. This is what drives profitability. If you can, like Kagan was saying, if you can get a grasp on your profitability, that's where all the magic happens. I'll just show you very quickly on one of the demo accounts we prepared for this podcast. Sorry, my internet's a little bit slow, but we're strategic advisors to a couple of the big names in the country, and they've got certain products, and they feel they're doing great. You know, they've got 13-14% net on some products. They're doing fantastically well. They're doing maybe 25% upwards. And they look at me and they say, yes, Rash, you know, this product is great. This product is performing really well. And then as soon as you take a slightly closer look, you see a very different story. When this boots up, I'll share. Let's take this product as an example. And this is Nick and panel and audience. This is a true example of how performance drives marketing. This particular product, we can see, it's a dummy product, but 25% net. This is what the product is doing right now. One thing that we're really proud of at WhatSales is we're one of the industry first. What we've taken is, when did your reviews actually come through? One thing as Amazon sellers or eBay sellers, e-commerce sellers, they're looking for that magic sauce. That magic sauce is, how much should I have in stock versus what was my optimum price versus how much am I advertising versus what kind of reviews am I getting? And I'm going to see my ranking fly. I'm going to see my sales fly. So what is your magic sauce? Now, as a wholesaler, if you've got 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 listings, you're going to be analyzing forever. So me, when I was selling a couple of years back, my biggest challenge was, how can I reduce this 2-3 hour analysis time down to 0? And this is what me and the great team at WhatSales have effectively done. So we find that 25% net margin, and this is what our BSR ranking looks like. We find that at this point, we had a 5-star review. This point, we had a 4-star review. This point, we had a 3-star review. But there is something wrong with this picture. Our ACoS is too high, which is obviously then driving the takeoff to be too high. Something is not quite right here. And when we look at the sentiments, because if the audience doesn't like your product, then Nick, no matter what you do, if you gold plate it, it's not going to sell. 20% of the audience does not like this product. What you've effectively done is upped your bill by 20%. 20% of the people are leaving negative feedback. 20% of the people are hating your product. 13% of the people are no longer liking your product. Now that 33%, can you imagine the impact it's having on PPC sales? Every time somebody leaves a negative review, every time a refund happens, you can see a correlation. This is performance marketing, Nick. We got a refund here. BSR fell. PPC sales fell. Everything fell. We got a positive review here. Things went up again. But we got another refund. Even if we had a positive review, everything fell down again. Now, this is the challenge that sellers are facing. They're throwing good money after bad. They're throwing, they're under this, and somebody mentioned this earlier, this, I think it was Kagan, the revenue illusion. If I'm driving more sales, then I'm okay. No, because you've just overspent 10, 15, 20, 30% on your advertising. That's where WhatSales comes in. And that's the question that I was hoping to answer when I was selling. Nick, you may know this, but Sharkproof. I had, at the time, one of Europe's and the US's leading nanotechnology screen protector brand. I was throwing $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in advertising every single month as a bare minimum. Some months were even higher. And I couldn't figure out that, okay, if I'm spending more on advertising, then surely I must be making more sales. Surely I must be making more profit. But then the reality was very, very different. When we start looking at the ad spend versus the refunds and the correlation between that, the PPC spends versus the negative sentiment of the customer or positive sentiment of the customer, the whole picture changes. So for that, and to answer those kind of questions, we created product intelligence. This whole section has been an uphill struggle for our CDO, who's worked really hard on getting this done, as well as our CTO Usman and Ali. For a wholesaler, somebody who's got 1,000, I mean, some of our sellers have 30,000 in SKUs. Some have 50,000 SKUs. Surely there must be a faster way to find out which channel is performing better in which country. So let's do that. Nick, it's not necessary for a cup, a fork, a pair of pliers to be performing great in the UK and for it to also be performing great in Germany. So which of your products is performing great in UK? And then let's pump that. Let's support that. Which of your products is performing great in Germany? Let's support that. So that's the angle that What Sales comes through. We're wholly customer centric. We listen to our customers. We're really proud of the fact that we've got probably a personal relationship with God knows how many customers, and we take their advice on board. We take their challenges on board. And since becoming Linworks partners, it's multiplied. Where now we understand that sellers are struggling to find out which of their products is actually performing and why. Which of the products aren't performing and why. And hopefully What Sales will help you answer that. Just very quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to the orders breakdown. We work with several of the big names in the United Kingdom. One such customer, they have a catalog of maybe 1,000 or so products. And the question I get thrown at is, Rash, we want to go all over Europe. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Let's pick the best performing products in terms of revenue, the best performing products in terms of less refunds, the best performing products in terms of ROAS, the best performing products which drive you the best tacos, and then let's push them. So What Sales will help you identify if you're a wholesale seller, but even if you're a solopreneur, this will help you understand how you're performing. And then you can cross compare and correlate. How did France do versus Germany? How did Germany do versus Spain? And then a lot of clever stuff goes in. Just one thing I want to quickly touch on is advertising. We've all spoken about advertising. I completely agree with Kfir. Kfir is great. He knows his stuff. Jessica, you're absolutely right. DSP, and it's all fantastic. How is it performing? I think sellers need to understand that when they're targeting their advertising using 2, 3, 4 different mediums, that's when magic starts to happen. When there's the right amount of Google ads, when there's the right amount of DSP, when there's the right amount of Amazon advertising, when there's the right amount of sponsored eBay, that's when magic starts to happen. That's when you really start in the return on investments. So what we done was we created a smart little AI, and it's fantastic. We work with a lot of agencies, like, Nick. We're saving agencies maybe 20, 30, 40 hours a week now. Instead of now going through every single campaign, we can now create a little traffic light system. Scale this campaign. This is going great. It's hitting the ACoS target. It's hitting the TACoS target. It's hitting the right inventory target. It's hitting the right reviews target. Let's scale it now. And then similarly, we have the severity levels of critical and review. So we've made it really easy for sellers now. Now, instead of spending hours and hours in investing on which campaign should we scale and why should we scale, we bypass all of that and say, here you go. These ones need scaling. These ones need a bit of review. And these ones, you know what, stop them immediately. Just very lastly, everybody, PLS, something that I believe one of the other panelists brought up on. We're being Amazon partners. I think now everybody's aware that Amazon loves to be fast in some places. They love to be throwing these new fees every now and then. 2024, everything has gone up again. If you're not on top of it, it'll get on top of you very, very fast, and it will knock you out. So let's see how that happened. How did that impact you? How did the storage charges impact your profitability? How did the increase in advertising impact your profitability? So our PLS, really proud of the fact that we have one of the most intuitive PLS platforms in the industry right now. I mean, books and accountants are using it now as well. So it's really good. I'd highly recommend if you're selling. The takeaway that you need to take away from this particular podcast is, number one, you need to be everywhere. Gone are the days where you can just wholly solely rely on Amazon. You need to be in multiple channels. You need to be socially driven. You need to have a presence in social commerce. You need to be on top of your numbers. You need to be checking and monitoring that profitability. And you need performance-driven profitability stats. And I hope to see you at What Sales soon. Nick, how was that?
Very good, man. 1 minute overtime, but don't worry, no, we have overtime in soccer. They have some time in football in the States, so you cannot always finish on time. But you guys had great presentation now. But now, of course, like always, we have some questions that we need to answer. So I'm gonna start right away with the questions, and we can go from there. So the first one is, some of the questions are actually from people who cannot attend, so we're gonna answer them while they can watch the recording later on. So the first one is, what are some emerging trends or technologies that e-commerce businesses can leverage to enhance profitability? So I guess that's a question for all of you guys. What are some emerging trends and technologies that e-com businesses can leverage to enhance profitability?
General answer, I think AI, but I think we can all kind of niche down on exactly what that means. But there are a number of AI tools out there, whether it's for listing creation or image creation, or being able to speak to your data and find some of those points that that you previously weren't able to focus in on, to figure out what areas of your business need help. But so I'm sure everyone here has some AI tool that they use that they could recommend that's helped their business tremendously. But I think that's a great general starting point, is just look for those automations and integrations that you can use.
Okay, guys, Kagan, Rashad.
I think there are a lot of analytic tools, and you gotta leverage them because the setup is completely separate and diverse. You advertise on Google, you advertise on different platforms. You advertise on Amazon. There are 3 different layers, and you gotta combine them and know your numbers first, and then take actions accordingly. For example, I'm not sure if the audience knows that there's going to be return fee starting from June, and you gotta know your return rates of your product. And the question that I will ask, they can ask themselves: do you know your overall return rate? Do you know which products you're going to pay low level inventory fee? And the margins are pretty slim, and that there are a lot of complaints about the new fees Amazon introducing, but it's going to affect everyone. And if there's a crisis, there's always an opportunity. And if you want to leverage this crisis, you got to use the tools and analytics better than other sellers, and you got to win over your competition. I think that's the most important things nowadays that you should do.
I think I've got I agree, Jessica and Kagan. I absolutely agree. Sometimes I like to go back to basics and make it really simple. For me, it's common sense. If there's something wrong with your product, it's not going to sell. Listen to the customer. No matter what AI or no matter what tool or software you bring in, if the product's rubbish, it's not going anywhere. Listen to the sentiments of your audience. Listen to what the feedback. I mean, in all of What Sales, if there was one thing that I love the most, it's the fact that we can listen to the buyers. I don't like your product because when I switch it on, it makes a funny sound. When I hold your product, it is irritable. When listen to your audience. If you can get that right, everything else falls into place. Then yeah, AI and AI with tools and blah, 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 all of that makes sense. Listen to your customers.
Okay, thank you guys. And Rashad, now we have a question for you from one of the attendees. Purushottam Sharma, what sales IO have an option to integrate affiliate marketing as well? That's the question. So do you guys have an option to integrate affiliate marketing? That's the answer. That's the question.
Okay, I'm gonna answer that into. Are you talking about affiliate marketing for what sales, or looking at affiliate marketers on places like Amazon and stuff?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, let me answer both. The short answer is yes. Nick, we have maybe 1,000 affiliates worldwide. They have their own affiliate logins. It's great. And on the affiliate referral side, on what sales? Sorry, on Amazon sales or other platform sales, that's also yes. So you can track, if you're a seller and you're promoting your product through the affiliate network, you can track that. And it's very important. It's not suitable for every seller because of the 10, 12, 15% charges that are involved. But if you do have margin, definitely make use of it. But short answer is yes on both.
Okay, he just retaliated. No, I'm referring to affiliate marketers and referrals. So that was okay. Okay,
Yes.
guys. So next question from an anonymous attendee. In India, we have one tax nomenclature, which is GST, which is VAT. In Europe, what if a reseller want to expand? Do we need to register for VAT and need details on logistics support? VAT in Europe is very, very simple. If you hold stock in Europe, you must have VAT. If you import stock outside of Europe and you sell to clients across Europe, you need the so-called IOSs. But the short answer, yes, you need VAT, you need the logistics support, and that's what we do with the expansion. We help you to get the VAT. We hook you up with logistic partners either within Europe or those in China who move your stock to Europe, and we take care of the product component. So a few things to remember. VAT is a must. It takes 2 to 3 months to get that, so you cannot sell anywhere without VAT. So you must have that. Then the product compliance, and then the logistics. So those are the 3 things that you cannot go without. Another question. That's for everybody. Again, from another anonymous attendee. What are the biggest challenges for online sellers nowadays, and how can we overcome them? I guess that's for you guys because you work with Amazon sellers daily. So what is your answer to that? Okay, let's start with Jessica.
There's so many, and I think we probably each will have something totally different. So I'll try and go a little bit outside of kind of some of the things we've already discussed. And I think one of the biggest things is recognizing for so many of these e-commerce brands who have launched in e-commerce or have launched on Amazon even, and they've never really thought about their brand outside of Amazon. Branding is so important. And if you are an Amazon native brand or if you're an e-commerce native brand, you may not have put as much work into really understanding what your brand is and what the brand voice is and what your brand image is. And that is so important in 2024, especially as much as we've talked about social commerce. You really have to know who you are as a brand, who you're speaking to, and how you need to be speaking to those brands. And for brands that launched on Amazon or have really just grown up in e-commerce, so much focus is just on how can I run my Amazon PPC and drive traffic to my listings and get my listings to sell through that. And we're realizing now video is so much more important. The branding is so much more important. Your social image is so much more important. Really understanding what your brand is and how to market that brand, I think, is a huge challenge outside of your regular day-to-day of running your business. That is something a lot of brands are going to have to pay a lot more attention to and really develop a strategy for. And I think that's a huge challenge if it's not something you're already focused on.
Thank you, Jessica. Kagan, Rashad.
Yeah, I normally look at the bright side of the things. There are a lot of challenges, but there are a lot of opportunities as well. Like I'm hearing throughout the day, I'm talking with a lot of sellers, and like they're mentioning that, for example, one of them is selling 20% of their sales are coming from Target. And some of the sellers are saying that, we are selling 30% on this platform, and I never heard this platform before. and I'm hearing a lot of positive things about TikTok Shop as well. And the challenges are going to be always here, but you look for opportunities, and I think like social media marketing is one of the best opportunities right now. I'm seeing a lot of sellers saying that we first time in our history got the 8-figure selling point because of the TikTok shop, and they also drive more sales on Amazon because of the influencer that they are working. I think the challenges are fees and increasing, like they're increasing every day. But you gotta get them under control and then focus on the opportunity side of the things.
Thanks, Kagan. Rashad?
There's only a two-word answer, Nick, and that's multi-channel. I think sellers need to understand your product doesn't necessarily have to be a bestseller on Amazon. I think there's this something stuck in people's minds. I need to get the bestseller badge. I need to get a whatever badges there are these days, Come, I'll give you a badge. You need to get out of that mindset now. Your product, which might be performing really poorly, and I'll give you an example. Hammer. We've got a customer, a seller. They're selling hammers and tools and stuff. On Amazon, they probably do about 300 units a month. Nothing. There's 10 units a day. The competition is fierce and whatnot. But now they're also on Mano Mano and B&Q. They're doing 7-8 times that on each platform. It's the same product. So the two-word answer, multi-channel.
Okay, Rashad. That's actually a very good answer. And just to add something for what Kagan said, the challenges are good. I'll give an example. 2%, 98% of US sellers don't sell in Europe, on Amazon Europe, because it's easy to sell. This is a challenge because they think it's hard. But because it's hard, it's an opportunity for those who are brave enough to go to Europe. And that's what I'm joking with everybody. You guys are willing to spend 10K on a vacation to Europe. You're not willing to spend 10K to expand to Europe. So think about that. It's time to start making some money in Europe, not just spending some money. And let's go to the next question from Asia. Hussain, can I have multiple VAT settings? Yes, you can have that, but you don't need to start with that right away. Multiple VAT means that you're going to hold your stock in multiple countries, let's say multiple VAT warehouses. But the smart way to expand is like that. Start with Germany. Germany accepts documents in English. They're the biggest market after .com. Central location Europe. They don't need fiscal representation. And generally now they're very business oriented. And Germany is going to allow you to sell across the whole European Union with one VAT. You start there with one VAT, hold your stock there, and you branch out across the whole European Union. And then once you see the demand in the other markets, like Rashad said, you don't need to sell everywhere. You don't need to be the best. You sell where there is demand for your product. And then you can branch out and set up VAT in France, Italy, Spain, just step by step, work smarter, not harder.
Nick, just to add to that, I think the user from India, they might be slightly referring to something slightly else. We have customers in India. The short answer is you're going to need to declare your GST and the VAT in the country you're selling. And yes, you can have both. And yes, you can reclaim in India certain level of expenses. Certain.
Okay, thanks, Rashad. Another question from Adair. Can we know which of our products is best performing and which is the least performing for what sales? I mean, that's the question for you.
Short answer is yes. By period, by I think Nick, finding out what your best performing and your least performing, that's easy. That's easy. The numbers do all that. Why is it the best performing? Why is it the least performing? That's where what sales will really help you.
Okay, thanks, Rashad. We go to the next question. A question I think that's for you, Kagan, but also for the other guys. Is being profitable on Amazon harder nowadays?
Yes, I think so. Compared to 7-8 years ago, and like the fees are increasing. And if you don't advertise, you're not going to be able to sell. You're not going to be able to scale. Like you're paying more inventory fees. Returns are, hurting. But, like for the online sellers, there are always opportunities to look for, as I mentioned. The best thing is to, know your numbers, look at the, metrics, and then like be on top of your items, and I'm sure that you will find a way to, be more profitable. And as I mentioned, there are, still private label sellers who are doing 50% profit margin. And these are the numbers that I, see with my own eyes, because they're using our real-time profit analytics for their store, and they want us to, work with them. And when I say this sellers, like there are, some sellers doing 30 million, $40 million of sales with, 30%, 40% profit margins in the US marketplace. Sometimes, like I want to, do webinars with one or two of them. These are really successful sellers. I'm coming from the selling background. I'm an 8-figure seller. I spend, $2-3 million of ads each year. And it was my own, company's money. I was joking with these guys, like, how do you manage to sell, these small items like 30 million, $40 million? Sometimes, it was kind of a stress test for Profit Cyclops, because they have huge number of sales, like small items, and you have to pull that through real time. They are giving a hard time to us, but there are really successful sellers out, and then try to be one of them, even if the fees are increasing for them as well. But they know their numbers, they know how to leverage, and if everything goes south for everyone, again, there are a lot of room for opportunity.
Okay, thanks, Kagan. Okay, guys, let's move to the next question. We have a few more. That's actually a very good question, though. I want an answer from everybody. What are the top 3 new markets to look into in 2024?
I think it also depends from seller to seller what the top, because where are you already?
Okay, let's assume which are the best markets for USA, because USA is the biggest market.
If you're in the US, I think TikTok Shop.
No, I mean, no, not market, not platform. Which country, which market? That's what I think they mean.
So if you're already selling in the USA, which
Yeah,
international
exactly.
And TikTok Shop is still a great answer, because it's
Yeah,
not just
we
right?
we have a question. The other question is about the platforms, but let's say I'm gonna say, so based on my experience and what we see, US companies, they should go in Europe, because what we're seeing, that what they're doing in the States, they're gonna do 20 up to 40% of the revenue in Europe, with a big question mark, which is a positive one, higher profit margin, because European is not as competitive. It has like a higher average order value. So you're gonna make less revenue, but you're gonna add on. Let's say why?
Yeah, 3 of our sellers selling only in the US moved to Europe. It is not hassle free. Like the VAT registration and all that stuff, everything is harder. But they at least double their revenue with better profit margins.
Okay, so that's even better than what they said, and that's what we do, Kagan. That's what we do, guys, because we know that those sellers are scared of Europe. We kind of build a package so they come to us. We show them where they should go, because, like Rashad said, we never make assumptions. That's why we do the reports. Now we show them where they should go, which market has the most demand. Then we do the VAT, the product components, and logistics. So we kind of do the open. We do the market or we do the market entry, then you go from there. But in our market that I've heard very good reviews is also the Latam, and because Latam is very big in terms of population, it's super early now. I was sharing some stats this week that they have, I might be mistaken, like 5,000 Amazon sellers in Mexico or like Brazil, which is crazy. I mean, Brazil, they have 200 million population now. Mexico, they have 150. So that's both those countries like double are the same size of like USA. Of course, people are not buying as much stuff as there, but of course they're gonna be buying in the future.
Nick, you're absolutely right. But just to simplify the answer, if somebody's in the US, UK, Germany, and Saudi, if someone's in the UK, Germany, France, New Zealand, if someone's in Germany, then hands down, UK, US.
Okay. Jessica?
Yeah, I mean, I agree very much with Rashad. Although the New Zealand one is interesting to me, so I'd like to know more about your thoughts on that. But otherwise, yeah, 100% there.
Surfing goods and play accessories and games. And the Aussies and Kiwis are crazy.
Okay, so we didn't know that. So another question for you guys. What platform should we expand on besides Amazon? By platform, I guess we can say TikTok. So I guess everybody's gonna say TikTok, I think. Even if they got banned,
Yeah,
somebody's
exactly.
gonna take over, right?
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, you guys may know better than I. I know in the US, the ban is a potential issue, but TikTok Shop is worldwide. Is it being considered for a ban in other
UK.
countries as well?
No,
UK?
no, as far as I know, they have TikTok Shop in the UK, right, Rashad? They do?
They do.
And
TikTok Shop is
Not in Europe yet, right?
no,
No.
they have it in UK.
Europe is still okay, but as far as I've heard, and I could be wrong, but US sellers can still promote on global TikTok.
Correct.
So, Jessica, you may know more about that. I'm not 100% on it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
did.
all of the markets that are available, but I do know if it's banned in the US, US sellers are still able to leverage TikTok Shop in the global markets. So it's a very kind of gray area as to really what the ban will impact for US sellers specifically. Right now, everyone is operating as if there's still global opportunity. If something happens in the US, there's still opportunity globally for those sellers, but we don't really know what that looks like.
But hey, everyone's going to end up using Canadian VPNs and logging right back in, right?
Yeah,
There's always a workaround.
yeah. I mean, actually, in one group, and I don't think it's that easy now for the TikTok, but I know that Germany is gonna be next, besides the UK. So I guess, I mean, if in the USA they ban that, I mean, they're gonna move stronger in other markets. So
Nick, just to throw in a bit of a spanner, even if they ban TikTok Shop, now the world has changed. Now it's the era of social commerce. Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. We're going to see exactly what's happening with TikTok Shop happening on these platforms in a much larger degree. Secondly, I think the reason why, I mean, all of us panelists are going to be emphasizing TikTok or social commerce is because of one reason, Nick, just one reason. And that's when you go on Amazon or when you go on eBay or when you go on Walmart, you type in wallet. Because I've got a wallet in front of me. You type in men's wallet, you get 30 sponsored listings, 50 organic ads. You're looking at 100 products. That's where the confusion is. The reason why TikTok excelled is because when you're looking at TikTok, you're looking at one product, just one. There's no confusion, no clutter, nothing else. It's just one. All of your attention is on one product. Now, how good your video is, how good your creative is, how good your messaging is, how good your price is, job done, sale done. And that's what the world is moving to, which is worrying for people like Amazon.
yeah, exactly.
But Amazon's going to follow suit. Watch, give it a year, 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, give Jeff Bezos a ring and see if you can find out what's going on.
And they kind of already have, right? Even before the TikTok Shop, they already had their social commerce. They already have Amazon Live. They already have Amazon Posts, which have been around for like, at this point, 4 years, but are still slowly being adopted by sellers. But similar to social commerce, that's one product on an image there in a feed that could show up in the app, could show up on the user's homepage. So they've started all of this, but now they may get a jump start from what's happening on other platforms.
I'll share an interesting fact with you, and I only learned about this last week. Amazon affiliates, the referral program by Amazon affiliates. Guess where it's been most profitable in driving traffic from?
TikTok.
TikTok.
And I'm seeing you know, a similar trend here. People are saying that their products are being, you know, seen on TikTok, and then people ending shopping on Amazon because they, you know, tend to trust the Amazon more than TikTok shop because it's the platform that they know, and the, you know, like shipping times are still, you know, 1 day, 2 day, which is great in the, you know, US. And yeah, I think Amazon is going to benefit from TikTok and videos and TikTok shop trend as well.
That's
Okay.
a really good point. You just, because you mentioned before, like TikTok was the place to be, but we all said TikTok shop, but really it's just TikTok is the place to be. And for your brand, TikTok shop maybe, but it may just be being on TikTok and having a presence so that people see your brand and can click out to
Exactly.
Amazon. Sorry, Nick.
Okay. Okay, guys, now it was a great session for you. Now, just summarize. Go multi-channel, go multi-platform. If TikTok get banned, don't worry, somebody's gonna step in. Look at your numbers. Now we have great partners here, Kagan, Jessica, Rashad. Get in touch with them. They're gonna show you what you need to do, what are your losses, what are your mistakes, and they're gonna help you optimize. And me, we're gonna help with the expansion. I'm gonna mention briefly now the giveaway that we're giving. And this is not what you guys can benefit from. We're gonna send you an email, but okay, am I sharing?
Yes.
Okay, here. So this is what we're gonna give you. Just send us your Amazon store link, your website link, or your product idea. We're gonna do a blueprint like the one I showed at the beginning. And of course, we're giving crazy discounts for you, like free VATs, cheaper product compliance, logistics solutions, funding, reimbursement, and all kind of stuff. So you can actually expand in Europe. So send your Amazon store to np@hellotax.com, and we're gonna take it from there. And thanks again for everybody for joining today. We're gonna share the recording. We're gonna be able to get in touch with our guest today, Kagan. Thank you a lot, man. Thank Jessica for making the time, and Rashad. And I strongly recommend to follow and connect with them on socials. And you can meet them, you can chat with them directly. So don't be shy. That's why we do the webinar, so we can share some value, and then you connect with our speakers to help you out in real life. So thank you, everybody. Have a nice day,
Thank you, Nick.
Kagan, Jessica.
You too.
Have a
Take
good
care.
night,
Bye.
Rashad, and myself.